Welcome back, everyone. As most of you guys know, the Google Pixel 5 has been out for a couple of weeks. Actually, I don't think it's fully out yet, but it's going to be out very soon. And the iPhone XR is an iPhone that's been out for a couple of years, and the newer iPhone, the iPhone 12 Pro, is about to kind of overtake this one and the successor of this one. But you can actually pick up both these phones brand new, which is surprising. So the Google Pixel 5 is selling and retailing for $699 when it officially comes out. The iPhone XR, on the other hand, is actually selling for $499. So there's about a $200 difference in the favor of the iPhone XR. This is a cheaper phone in the brand new market. So which phone should you pick up? Let's go ahead and try to figure that out. Now, if you want to pick up either of these ones, like I stated before, links will be down in the description below. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the front panels of both, the iPhone XR has a 6.1-inch liquid retina IPS panel. It's 828 by 1792, and it's a really good panel for the most part, for like a budget device. And even now in 2020, in the later part of 2020, since it's gone down in value quite a bit, and we have those new OLED displays on the iPhone 12s, this makes it a little bit better on this device just because it's a pretty decent panel for that price point. If this was like $1,000 phone, then we would be a totally different price. That'd be a totally different topic. But the fact that it's $499 right now, and it has pretty much no bezel except for the little bit of bezel around the display and the notch, it makes it a pretty decent panel in my opinion. Whereas on the Google Pixel 5, on the other hand, has a 6.1-inch OLED display. Now this one is 1080p, so it's a higher resolution than the one on the iPhone XR, so kind of keep that in mind. You have pretty much less bezel around the display too compared to the iPhone XR, and you have no notch on this phone. You have a hole punch display. I think a lot of people are totally okay with it. I don't even think really people care about it that much, but you also have that 90Hz refresh rate on the Google Pixel 5, which that in and of itself is a really cool feature on that phone. Is it a deal breaker? Not really, but a lot of phones nowadays are bringing that 90Hz refresh rate, and it's really cool that we have it on this phone that's not really like a budget phone, but it's a cheaper phone than like $1,000 phone. So I find that really cool on this device, and probably in terms of the front, I'd probably give it to the Pixel 5, but the iPhone XR's panel I still think looks pretty good. On the bottom, we have a Lightning port on the iPhone XR and a USB Type-C port on the Pixel 5. And on the back, we have a glass back on the iPhone XR, and we have a kind of aluminum back on the Pixel 5. Fingerprint sensor right here. The iPhone XR has Face ID. You have a dual camera setup on the Google Pixel 5. We have a single camera setup on the iPhone XR. Now, is that a big deal? I'll talk about it more in the camera segment, but in terms of the way they feel and which one feels more premium, the iPhone XR definitely feels more like a premium device. They both have wireless charging. The Pixel 5 actually has reverse charging. They both have IP certification as well, but we have IP67 dust and water resistance on the iPhone XR. On the Pixel 5, we have IP68 dust and water resistance. Is it a ginormous deal? That is something you're going to have to ask yourself, but I think when it comes down to it, like I said before, the iPhone XR definitely feels like the more premium device. The Pixel 5 still feels okay for the most part. Now, hitting on the software, luckily for you, both these devices are pretty good when it comes down to the software department. Now, the iPhone XR is probably going to be lasting for a couple more years, and I can say the same thing for the Pixel 5. I don't know which one is going to outlast the other one. If I had to probably say maybe the iPhone XR, but I don't even think that. I think the Pixel 5 and the iPhone XR are probably going to end off around the same time, probably within months of each other. And they're probably going to get security updates after that. The Pixel 5 has a really cool thing though, where there's going to be custom ROMs available for this device. The iPhone XR doesn't really have that capability. You can get jailbreaks and stuff, but it's not really the same as a custom ROM. So when it comes down to the software, I mean, again, you're gonna have to ask yourself, do you like iOS, do you like Android, and then kind of go from there. But I think when it comes down to it, maybe the Pixel 5 is better because of the custom ROM capability, but I still find iOS to be a smoother experience. And when it comes down to both these, I'd probably still say the iPhone XR is a smoother phone, especially when it comes down to the software. But the Pixel 5 is extremely stock, and I have very little to complain about it. So in terms of the software, that pretty much covers it up. Now I'll go ahead and do a little bit of a speed comparison between these two devices as well. The Google Pixel 5 has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 765G chipset, an octa-core CPU, an Adreno 620 GPU, and 8 gigs of RAM on the only model that it has. Where the iPhone XR, on the other hand, has that Apple A12 Bionic chip, X-core CPU, and 3 gigs of RAM on both models, or 3 models that are supported. So let's go and see which one is the faster phone between both of these. Okay, now that we're back, let me go and clear out on all the apps that we had in the background. And it's probably going to take a solid minute. I think the iPhone XR is cleared out. On the Pixel side, we always have to do this. So all apps are cleared out, so let's get into it. Let's do phone calls, 3, 2, 1. Okay, both about the same. Kind of popping out, you'll probably be able to see that they're about the same there too. We can do their designated app stores, 3, 2, 1. And it did look like the Pixel 5 was way faster there. That could be because I've been opening up a lot of apps on the Pixel 5 and maybe it was stored in cache or something. I don't know how it works. But scrolling through, I've always found it weird. Android devices sometimes able to open the apps faster, but actually when you're in it and scrolling through, you can see that it's kind of a smoother experience on the iPhone XR. Is it a big deal? Probably just depends on you, but to me, it's like kind of in the middle. As always, I have a bunch of these third-party apps we can get into. Let's do Twitter. 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone XR was faster. I thought the Pixel 5 was going to be faster, but the iPhone XR was faster there. We can do stack. 3, 2, 1. And the Pixel 5 was able to get into the ad faster, so kind of keep that in mind. If I go ahead and I don't even know, I was going to play the game, but the Pixel 5 is being weird. We can do snake versus blocks. 3, 2, 1. And snake versus blocks on the Pixel 5 is faster there. Getting into some gameplay, let's see if there's going to be a big difference. And the iPhone XR actually started there a little bit. And maybe the Pixel 5 did too for a second, but I think when it comes down to it, the Pixel 5 was probably the faster one. We can do Temple Run 2. 3, 2, 1. And we do have a little bit of a pop-up here, so we'll give this one a little bit of a leeway. Maybe still the Pixel 5 would have been a little bit faster. We'll give it like a split second of a decision. As you can see, we're loaded here. Maybe it still would have been faster on the Pixel 5 without that little pop-up, so keep that in mind. But I'll let you guys kind of be the judge there. Gameplay-wise, we can kind of look at it here too, and probably going to be around the same. I don't think one is going to be way better than the other one, so that one pretty much covers up that. We can do Snapchat. 3, 2, 1. Okay, pretty basic one. I think the Pixel 5 was faster there. We can do Paper IO 2, 3, 2, 1. And Pixel 5 faster. iPhone XR a little bit behind. Let's get into some gameplay here. And you will see that I think the iPhone XR is a smoother one for sure. And it's very hard to play both, but I think the Pixel 5 was a little bit slower. We can do Fruit Ninja, which this one always glitches up on, so I'm not doing that. We can do Quizlet. 3, 2, 1. Okay, Pixel 5 was faster. iPhone XR a little bit behind. We can go and end it off with Road Racing 3, 3, 2, 1. I may have to download a new update on here though. I'm not really too sure. It's been happening time and time again and it's very annoying. So it glitched up a little bit. And the Pixel 5 should be done very soon. Okay, the Pixel 5 is done. The iPhone XR is still taking its time, like I said, and may have to download something. I'm not too sure. It happens all the time. And we might not even have to download it because the Pixel 5 is, because the iPhone XR is kind of smoother. Okay, so we did get into it eventually, and you can see how big of a difference that was. That was quite a bit of difference. I don't know what to say about that one. I think, but again, like I stated before, and I've been saying this for a while, I think still the smoother device is the iPhone XR, but the faster device may actually be the Pixel 5. I think more times than not, quite possibly the Pixel 5 was the faster one. Now, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section or what you guys think, but that's kind of what I was saying. And even in RAM management, they look about the same. I haven't seen one that glitched up yet. And yeah, both of them seem about the same, but I think when it comes down to the app opening speeds and everything, the Pixel 5 is probably faster one, but I think the iPhone XR is still the smoother one when it comes down to it. So if I'm wrong, let me know, but that's pretty much what I think. Now let's go and hit on the cameras. Now on the back, like I stated, dual camera setup on the Pixel 5, single camera setup on the iPhone XR. We have a single 12 megapixel wide angle lens on the iPhone XR, whereas on the Pixel 5, we have a 12.2 megapixel wide angle lens and a 16 megapixel ultra wide sensor. Now in terms of the UIs and everything, I don't know why it goes down here. You'll pretty much be able to see that they look kind of the same if I'm being honest. You can kind of already see that the Pixel 5's photo looks a little bit brighter. I've always said this and I still believe it. The UI on iPhones are sometimes a little bit smoother. There's like less going on and all that stuff. But on the Androids, there's always so many more features. And this is a classic case. We have portrait mode on this phone, but there's really not too many features on the iPhone side. Whereas on the Pixel side, even like this isn't even that good for an Android phone. But we still have a lot more capability. There's a lot of camera apps that we can download on both of these. But I'll probably still say when it comes down to the UIs, I kind of like the UI on the iPhone in this case because the Pixel side doesn't really have too many features and it's a little bit clunky. But on something like a Galaxy S20 or something, there are so many features built into that camera that make that way better than both of these. But in terms of both these, I'd probably give the S to the iPhone. However, in terms of quality and features, it's kind of a little bit of a different story. So the iPhone XR, we still have a lot of capability. The pictures look great, the photo videos look great. We have a 4K at 60 on this camera. Even on the front, we have 1080p at 60, which is good on the 8 megapixel sensor. And I think for the most part, anything you're going to do on the iPhone XR's camera is going to be perfectly okay. I think for 99% of people watching this, if you get an iPhone XR, you're going to be totally okay. But there are some people, and me included, who like having additional sensors. And the fact that this thing only has one sensor is kind of weird. I wish it did have multiple different ones, but it's totally okay. This came out in 2018. It's totally understandable. And that's why I think the Pixel 5 may have an advantage here. This thing has a dual camera setup, so not only can you zoom in, it doesn't really matter that much in the zoom in because there's no telephoto lens on here, but that ultra wide sensor does make it a little bit of a better phone in that category just because you can zoom out more in a photo, more than you could on an iPhone XR, which is really impressive. Now, that's why I think the Pixel 5 may have a little bit of an advantage. This one could still do 4K at 60 and everything just like the XR. However, you do have a little bit of a different camera on the front. You have an 8 megapixel sensor, but it can only do 1080p at 30 versus the iPhone XR's 1080p at 60. So that's another thing. Again, is it a big deal? It's totally up to you, but that is something I would probably consider. So I think the overall camera may be better on the Pixel 5 because of the features and everything, but I still think the quality and everything on the XR is still extremely good as well. So in terms of the camera, that pretty much covers it up. Now hitting on the battery life, the Pixel 5 had a 4080 mAh battery, the iPhone XR had a 2942 mAh battery. Both these batteries are great on these devices, and I don't think one really, overtakes the other one. Both of them support wireless charging. This one has reverse charging on the Pixel 5. And I'll probably tell you in terms of battery life, maybe the Pixel 5 is a little bit better right now, but I still think the iPhone XR's battery life pre-iOS 14 was really good for the most part too. So to kind of sum up this video and to answer the question, should you pick up the Pixel 5? Should you pick up the iPhone XR? Let me tell you some pros and cons for both phones, starting with the XR because it's older. The iPhone XR is a tremendous phone in my opinion. You're getting a lot for this specific phone at $499. First of all, it's cheaper than the Pixel 5, which that might be a big deal to you. You're getting a great camera setup, amazing build quality, better build quality on the iPhone XR over the Pixel 5. Pretty good screen, pretty good performance. There's really not that much to complain about, and I think this is a very stable, solid phone. You're going to be getting software updates for a very long time too. It's not like today this phone's going to be outdated, or even next year, or even the year after. This phone is going to be very, very, relevant for many, many years from now, which is very important. So the 10R, it's an iPhone. It's always going to be around and it's very stable. There's really not that much to hit on it. The Pixel 5 is pretty much the same thing on the Android side, I think it has a better camera than the iPhone XR. It's a very good looking phone. The front panel is very good and it is better than the iPhone XR's panel for sure. You're getting that 90 hertz refresh rate on that front panel. Pretty good build quality, like I stated before, USB Type-C. Good performance. I think this phone is faster than the iPhone XR, which is another thing to note. And I think maybe the battery life is actually better on the Pixel 5 as well. So those are some reasons why you should pick up one phone over the other. Again, I don't know if one really is the best winner here, but it's very cool to see how both these phones compare. They're both, they're not similar in price, but there are some similarities, which is pretty interesting. They're not like $1,000 flagships or anything. They're both pretty budget phones when it comes down to it, but the 10R may be one I would go for in this situation, but I still feel like the Pixel 5 is pretty much the exact same phone on the Android side. I feel like if it was like $100 or $200 cheaper, maybe the Pixel 5 would have been better. Because the 10R is $499, I think it makes it that better of a device in my opinion. So in terms of everything, that pretty much covers it up. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.